establishing a little bit of a dominance, not really fighting. A fight is pretty awesome when you really see a fight.
Let's start this week's antler video out looking at, I think, the number one set of antlers on the whole ranch. He may not have the biggest set of antlers on the whole ranch, but I think he is the most popular set of antlers. He's certainly my favorite. There he is right there. Mr. Forrest, laying basically in the yard. Here where we can get a little bit better look at him. I'm looking out my bedroom window, guys and girls, so that's just how precious this is. That's just how special that is right there. He's laying there like a big dog. Laying there like a big dog, just absolutely perfectly calm and contented. Not a care, not a worry in the world. Probably dreaming of a beautiful doe with a sexy body. Yeah, that's what he's thinking about right now. Looking at the lake, thinking, I live in paradise. He's right, he does. Besides that, nobody's going to be hunting him. Unless he strays pretty far from home, that's a possibility, obviously. Maybe if they see him wearing that green crown around his head, maybe somebody wouldn't shoot him, I don't know. Pretty prized buck. But is that special? Just laying there in the yard. Right out my bedroom window. Chris just got up taking her nap. I told her, I said, look at that. Is that pretty or is that pretty? That is gorgeous right there. Mr. Forrest, he is definitely in his prime. Beautiful. What a start to another great week at the Eagle. As we look out through the woods this morning, and first really fall morning of the year, 64 degrees. That's right, 64 degrees. And that's after having 4 straight days of 100 or better. I think 103 was the high. But we find out that the deer are beginning their sparring. This is about the first I've seen, although I did see Prince Charming in the pen doing a lot of posturing with Forrest outside. Forrest rubbing on trees to try to antagonize him a little bit and doing a little posturing too. And now, these guys aren't fighting. They're not fighting. It kind of looks like they're fighting, but they're not. They're simply duking it out a little bit, kind of posturing, and I guess you might say establishing a little bit of a dominance, not really fighting. A fight is pretty awesome when you really see a fight, and you don't really see a bad fight very often, because once they establish their dominance over a buck, they're not going to fight very much. That's Fat Boy. And I don't know if that's Buddy or not, but they're getting after it pretty good. And what happens is it starts out as just a little friendly, whacking little horns together. That's not little Buddy. That's a bigger deer. That's that wild deer that's a full year younger than Fat Boy. And quite a bit difference in size. You see the size, and if you'll notice, he just keeps moving back and moving him backwards. If you're not going forward, you're going backwards. That's just a factor in life. And exactly what happens there. And he's established a little bit of dominance there. He's the larger buck, and so he's able to get the horns set there and push backwards. They do lock horns up sometime, and if they lock horns up, it ends up, a lot of times, both big giant bucks end up dying. It's a tragedy that happens in the woods. Hunters find them every year. You can see that the smaller buck there is, he backed up and said, I don't know. Well, we'll play a little bit more. But it's sort of playful now. Not a bad fight at all. Now, that could turn into a fight, but you can see what happened now. The smaller buck run away. And maybe that is Buddy. I don't know. Maybe it is little Buddy. I think maybe it is little Buddy. Little Buddy's gained some weight. But I'm not sure. I think it's a wild buck right there. You can see that he started to leave and decided, well, I'll go back for a little bit more. But you'll be able to see quite a bit of that happening in the woods if you're out hunting. If you were to see, of course, if you were hunting, you probably would hope that one of those came into bow range, probably that larger one. And once you saw that larger one in the area where you were hunting, you would probably not even bother with trying to take that smaller one. Although that's a pretty nice little buck. But you can see they moved quite a bit through the woods there. And that is the beginning of the rut. There's absolutely no doubt about that. The beginning of the rut. And now the younger buck's deciding, all right, you are the big boy. And basically, it's weight more than antlers, but it is a combination of both. As we get going into the rut at Twin Eagle Ranch. And we have plenty of big boys running around, like that one right there that we call Fat Boy. He's almost totally hidden right there. You can just barely see him. That's what you want to be looking for if you're hunting. And if deer stand, is always be watching for little pieces of an animal. Because sometimes that's all you see, and that alerts you and lets you know the animal's there. Then when you can get the animal close enough for a good bow shot or whatever, you can. Because don't be looking for the whole animal, be looking for little pieces. That's just a good philosophy in hunting. And there he goes, big, beautiful, Fat Boy. Leaving the other deer behind in a friendly battle, but knowing that he's the boss. I know there's nothing, absolutely nothing unusual about this shot right here at all. We see these guys a lot. Definitely not unusual, but still nice, still sweet. How sweet it is. Those are 5 bucks right there, isn't there? Is that 5 or 4? How many is it? I'm not real sure. Oh, well, it's 5. That's right, it's 5. 3 plus 2. And looky, well, we don't have any fighting or any sparring or anything going on. Has Boris figured out, is there some way? No, he's eating off the ground, isn't he? Yeah, Apache's put him a pile out there. Looks like he's fixed a pile for TC right there beside it. Look how close they're standing. See TC's antlers there on the other side of him occasionally. There's his antlers sticking out. Ooh, I wouldn't want those big antlers that close to my heart. Oh, he's back behind the tree, I guess, isn't he? Yeah. Golly. It might not be unusual. Well, I guess it'd be unusual in a lot of places. Not unusual here on the Eagle, but that's antlers. That's watching giant antlers grow right there at its finest. That is definitely at its finest. Redneck burn barrels. That's right. That's right. Redneck, proud of it. We have 4 in the picture right there. And then Fat Boy. He's got those chocolate horns. He's always had those chocolate horns once he gets them. Once he gets them hard and gets all the velvet off of them, they're always chocolate color. You notice that? You hear people talking about chocolate colored antlers? That's it right there. Chocolate colored. Look at them. Look at them. Forrest, his are pretty white, but they're a little bit darker this year. There's big TC stuck his head up, see what was going on. I don't know what happened. I don't think Benelli walked out there. They don't pay much attention to Benelli anyway, but I don't think he walked out there. He could lay right out there beside them. They wouldn't pay a bit of attention to him. 70 degrees. It got up to 71 or 72 today, and that was all. God is smiling on southern Oklahoma. God smiles on Oklahoma a lot. We call it Sooner Magic. I didn't have enough of it lately. We got lots of it in softball, though. We're having to rebuild our softball team. Lose 7 out of 9 starters. That's quite a loss. But we rebuild pretty quickly in softball. It used to rebuild like that in football, but it's becoming a little bit more difficult. We don't quite have the money that a lot of the other programs have. That's all right. I'm with them, win or lose. Just like I love those deer, win or lose. That makes dishwashing easier. You're washing dishes. Washing dishes, washing dishes, washing dishes. Something like that walks by. Yeah, look out the window, see all of those. Then something like that walks by. And you look and back behind, see if anybody else coming back behind here gonna walk by.
Give me a little show while I wash dishes. Oh, how's that? Chris told me to look out here. She said, look out there, look out there. And you look out there and it's just walking by. Some of y'all might want to volunteer to come and wash dishes for me. Hard to focus through that window. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Well, there they are. But I guess they have not totally run out of groceries enough. I got the reflection of the television. I got the reflection of the television in my window. Is that crazy? That's crazy. Entertainment tonight. I don't know one movie star from the next. What, just wasn't anything else on? Oh my goodness. Oh, break it off there. That looks kind of, whoa. Belly buster. We watching deer, we watching TV. Checking for an armadillo. Did not find an armadillo, but now definitely found a couple of bucks right there. See if we can zoom a little bit. Zoom a little more. Zoom way out there and see if we can find them. Yeah, there we go. Now those 2 bucks were sparring a minute ago. You see when I got it zoomed in there using that spotlight, is anybody else around? Nope. Oh, there's another one right there. Went the wrong direction. That's Fat Boy. Don't know who that is. It's a wild deer. I don't know, that's a pretty fat looking boy there too. Well, I think that's Fat Boy right there. That's little buddy. Little buddy, I'm calling you Fat Boy. How about that? Anybody else around? I see nobody else. Don't see TC or his father. And also, don't see any armadillos. That's pretty right there. Grazing in the yard. I love it. I walked out here and Apache was over there feeding the deer, and Benelli was right beside. Benelli was right beside the the Texas Hunter deer stand. I mean, she was our deer feeder, not deer stand, deer feeder. Be a great place to have a deer stand, wouldn't it? It sure would. She was right beside it. I mean, she was right there, and those deer were like 3 or 4 or 5 feet away from her. They sure were. So we get a great look at it here at some horns up close because Apache's thrown some feed out there. There's our boy, Mr. Forrest. Take a good look at him up close. There is Fat Boy, who is a totally wild deer, absolutely totally wild, and yet look at him. He's just so comfortable here. He's not afraid of Benelli, not afraid of Apache, not afraid of me. I'm 7 or 8 yards away from him right now. That's just how close I am. We can take a really good, nice look at his antlers while he's down there. He's facing toward us. He's been at 8 point for the last 3 or 4 years. That's a 4 or 5 year old deer right there. But his horns are basically about the same every year. He's an Oklahoma deer. He doesn't have any Iowa blood in him from Hagelin Farms up there. Little buddy is gaining some weight. You can see he's still a little skinny, but he's gaining some weight. We got one little horn up there broke off. That was that one that bent over. I think it finally totally broke off. He bent that while it was in velvet. But you can see that the deer have all hard horns right now. Look over there at TC. TC, remember, he has a hard time getting that off of that last, but TC's got some massive horns. wide, big and wide. A lot of points there. I don't even know how many. You can count them. You can see them right there. But 6 or 7 on each side. Just big, wide horns. And he's a pure Oklahoma deer also. He's a pure Oklahoma deer. But he's a beauty. He's 7 or 8 years old. He's done a lot of breeding. We got a lot of deer running around with his genes in him. He was in the pen for a while. We've turned him loose. And look at those drops coming off those brow tines down there. See those drops coming straight out from those brow tines? Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? And the brow tines, of course, are split. So he's just really he's pretty impressive. He's got actually 2 drops on one side, 1 on the other, coming out of those big brow tines. But he is really, really something. But, and of course, Forrest, you get a good look at Forrest. He's just absolutely an incredible deer. So, looks like he's he's got his little green collar there. I don't know how he got it up there around that. Probably fighting or rubbing a tree or something. You're a pretty boy, big boy. Yes, you are. Got turned around since I got him up here close. Take a look at all of those little points coming out by his head over there, will you? Take a look at all of those. He's still right up here, licking on my fingers, lipping the juice off. But take a look at those antlers. And then Casper, take a look at Casper right there too. Beautiful, beautiful 10-point buck. No brow tines. Look at the drop tine on that guy right there, will you? Look at that drop tine. And there's little Sally right there. And Sally, I hope, got some carrots. I don't know if she did or not. She's used to, and this is my baby right here. These are just all babies. But take a look at those antlers, will you? Take a look at those. Golly. That's what you call a beautiful albino buck. Now, these are going to be the only 2 bucks. I'll separate these and put these in one pen, one in the other, and put some does with each of them. And we got a little small buck or 2 we got to get out of here. I don't know how many, but we got a few that we got to get out of here and get them separate so they won't get killed during this rut. And you see Casper, he's not going to get too carried away there with Mr. Big. Look at that long drop. Look at that long drop tine. Of course, they're palmated out at the end. He's about got them cleaned all off. A little buck right there. It's a little buck right there, as a matter of fact. And he's a beautiful little buck. And you stay down. You stay down, Rose. You stay down, Rose. I don't have any more. You see him right there? Beautiful little baby buck right there. He's good size. He'll be as big as that big white one there someday, maybe. And golly, this is just special, just being out here with him. That albino doe almost ate a carrot out of my hands. That's never happened before. That's the one little doe baby albino we got. She's really good size. Really, really good sized deer. We lost the little buck, which was just a terrible situation. But to be honest with you, I would rather, low battery. Low battery. Okay, that's about going to wipe it out. I had a low battery come up there. That's a low battery on the phone. That's out. So anyway, we got a good look at the deer, a good look at the antlers, and it didn't take long. We went through those really, really fast. But it's pretty doggone, pretty exciting out here. My baby's up here. No wild child. Hey, wild child, baby doll. Hey, wild child. You such a pretty thing. That's my girls. Okay, girls, that's about it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's about it. That's a good wild child. Yeah, good girl, wild child. She loves to be loved on. Yes, my baby. Hey, split ears. She likes to be loved on, too. What a deal, Lucille. What a deal. Look at that big white albino doe. She's coming up here. She'll almost eat out of my hands. Is that fantastic or what? I need to buy hey, that's a good shirt right there you're trying to eat on. Look at this. Look at this. They licking that carrot juice off of my hands. Look at that. Okay. All right, girls. I gotta get out of here.